Let's go, Mom. We're gonna be late. Hi, Mr. Tony. Mom, what's that?
Nothing. Just get in the car. Let's go.
Who did that?
Come on. Right now. In. Get in. Right now. Let's go.
Did you paint it or something?
Move it. Seatbelt on. Right now. Put your seatbelt on.
Hi, Mr. Tony.
I'll suck your for $1,000.
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening.
Now, so far, we have what appears to me to be a series of victimless crimes.
What about the toe?
Forget about the fucking toe! Ow. Stay out of Malibu, deadbeat!
They're gonna kill that poor woman, man.
What the fuck are you talking about? That poor slut kidnapped herself.
You got any promising leads or?
Yeah, sure. They got us working in shifts.
Oh, fucking.
Is this your homework, Larry?
This is a bummer, man.
You're entering a world of pain, son. We know that this is your homework. And we know that this is your
We're
homework.
gonna cut your dick off. Nothing is fucked here.
Nothing is fucked!
No, man.
The goddamn plane has crashed into the mountain! Do you see what happens, Larry, when you fuck a stranger in the ass? What happens, Larry?
Por el camino del desierto, el viento me despeina.
This is my impression of the very first interaction with a Jew to ever happen on Earth. Me wish me had rock. Hey there, Krog Dickelstein. I could borrow you a rock. And all you'd have to do is pay me back 5 rocks over the next 90 sunups and sundowns. But if you don't, you're gonna owe me more rocks for every day that you don't pay me a rock back. And if you never pay me the rock back, you'll never be able to borrow a rock again, because I'm gonna put that in your credit report. Which I just invented. By the way, do you have a newborn baby who schmeckle like it suck?
It's actually my second.
Being a male isn't easy. You turned 12 years old, and now you're competing with CEOs, bankers, and politicians for girls your age.
Now that's fucked up.
You don't have to go to hell. You're in hell. This is hell. This is hell. This is hell.
Because democracy basically means government by the people, of the people, for the people. But the people are retarded.
Then strangled them, and finally dismembered their bodies.
Right.
Then do
Available.
and homelessness and all that. And now, the voice you've been waiting for.
There is a secret song at the center of the world, and its sound is like razors through flesh. I'm here to turn up the volume.
Can you dig it?
You know, stop being so game retarded.
I suppose it really shouldn't be a surprise to anybody after what happened with the lack of accurate coverage of the WikiLeaks releases in 2016. I remember Fredo telling his little whopper about it being illegal for citizens to read those WikiLeaks.
Also interesting is, remember, it's illegal to possess these stolen documents. It's different for the media. So everything you learn about this, you're learning from us. And in full disclosure, let's take a look at what is in there and what it means.
And then all the major news channels went on to highlight the same handful of weak-ass fucking revelations. The DNC staffers were trying to undermine Bernie Sanders' campaign, and they plotted to give Hillary the questions before the debate. Meanwhile, there were shit tons of emails with all kinds of crazy-ass coded language, and sometimes not so coded language. And you would try to tell people about some of the shit that was in there, and they just wouldn't fucking believe you. They just couldn't even fathom the idea that their news network of choice might be fucking lying to them. And then after that goofball went into Comet Ping Pong Pizza and fired his rifle through the floor, from that point on it became toxic to even want to talk about it. And keep in mind that there was less than 30,000 emails released and less than 10,000 attachments with them. And you compare that to over 3 million now, but all they want to talk about on every channel is like the same handful of little things, like the email where Elon Musk is asking to come to the island, and all the times Trump is mentioned, and of course Prince Andrew, and then the Bill Gates shit, and that's about it. I was watching Good Morning America on Wednesday, 5 days after the emails had been released, and the only time they could muster was a 30-second segment on what's come out of the Epstein file. But I guess there's only so much news they can cover. You don't have time for everything. Of course, they did have time to do like a 5-minute segment with a one-on-one interview with Miss Piggy. Another recent story that apparently nobody has been able to fit into their busy schedule was how on January 22nd, a Texas mother and her attorney were ordered by a judge to pay $3.2 million for perpetuating a hate crime hoax. And I'm surprised they didn't want to cover this. I mean, they all seemed to want to cover it back in March of 2021 when the shit went down to begin with. And supposedly these white kids invited this black kid over to a sleepover and then shot him with BB guns, made him drink piss. But they couldn't even win a civil trial where you don't have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. You just have to have a preponderance of evidence. You just have to prove to the jury that it's more likely than not that it happened. And this is my favorite part. Out of the almost $120,000 that the mom got on a GoFundMe, she actually put less than $1,000 towards her son and his schooling. I mean, in fairness, there was lots of other things they needed the money for. Like rent and car payments and cell phones and vapes and liquor, beauty products, a designer dog. I wonder why nobody wanted to report on how this case turned out. And it makes me wonder in those FBI statistics about the number of white supremacist hate crimes. It wouldn't surprise me at all to find that this one is still counted in those statistics. I mean, maybe they would go in and they scratch one off of the tally, but I wouldn't count on it.
Hey, look, a squirrel.
You're right, I digress. A lot of different people were shocked for a lot of different reasons when they started going through these files. The thing that really surprised me was just the extent of how many different fucking things he was involved with. I mean, I knew he had a lot of fingers in a lot of pies. Holy shit. It's almost like he was lurking in the background of every single major story of the last 20 fucking years. I mean, literally just everywhere. I had already seen the stuff about Bitcoin in some of the last documents to get released, I guess was his estate. But then the involvement with Reddit, the entertainment industry, and it had come out about the shit going on out at Zorro Ranch with the cloning and him saying he wanted to seed the planet with his offspring. But there is some legit, like, the island sounding shit, like cloning people so you can have spare body parts in order to extend your life. Not to mention the emails with people about, and then the emails about Ukraine talking about how there's going to be a lot of opportunities. That being a country that for a long time has been well known to have a problem with human trafficking, being involved with and talking about ways to undermine the Assad government in Syria. And this is only half of the documents. This was the half that the government felt better about releasing. And even with that, this is merely the stuff that they felt comfortable enough to talk about through open email. Because there's some things like somebody asked him, hey, I've got a friend in a Syrian jail. You know anybody that's got some kind of leverage over Assad? His reply was, not for email. This even brings back up questions about that whole Wayfair scandal. You guys remember that one? Where people started noticing, hey, there's these cabinets. The same kind of cabinets normally sell for like $140, but for some reason these things are over 10 grand. And they just so happen to have names that match the names of children that have gone missing. And not common-ass names like Jessica or Lauren, but very unusual names like Yuritsa and shit. Well, guess who had a thing for ordering shit off of Wayfair? to the point where there was even a self-imposed spending limit. Included in the emails was even a receipt from Wayfair for $8,455 for one item. And apparently he bought something on Wayfair and sent it to Woody Allen as a gift.
Oh, there's a fucking surprise.
I don't know, maybe this is typical super rich elite people gift-giving habits. They usually get gifts for each other off of a fucking discount online furniture site. And in addition to a YouTube account, it turns out that he also had an account on Fortnite attached to his Littlest Jeff 1 email address. And when people went and checked it out, it turns out that this account has been active since he died.
That's suspicious.
Of course, once people started talking about that, the account suddenly went private. And you add to that the U.S. Attorney's statement announcing that he was found dead. Only problem is, it's dated the day before he died.
That's weird.
Yeah, at this point, I'm basically fully convinced the dude isn't even dead. You know, they had that drone footage of him supposedly being spotted on the island after he was dead. The fact that the picture of the body they put out looked like somebody else's nose and ear. Probably Hillary Clinton's brother.
Allegedly!
And a lot of the people's reactions I've seen have been pretty, well, interesting.
Now, there are a lot of very powerful people whose names have been mentioned in the Jeffrey Epstein scandal. People who are hanging out, hobnobbing with Jeffrey Epstein. People who are asking dating advice, like Lauren Summers, former president of Harvard. Or people who are apparently soliciting visits to Epstein parties, or whom Epstein was soliciting to go to his parties, including people like Elon Musk. Obviously, Jeffrey Epstein was friendly with Bill Clinton. There was a time early on in his life, earlier, when he was friendly with Donald Trump. All of that is true. Now, the leap that some people are making is that this means that Epstein was manipulating all of these powerful people through blackmail with regard to sex. That is not in evidence. If that turns out to be in evidence, then we will happily report on it. That is not what so far has come out. And the reason I'm making this distinction is because it is, in fact, a deeply important thing that some of the most powerful people in our society act in morally depraved ways, godless, virtue-free ways, hanging out with some of the worst people in our society, people they know to be trafficking in women who are very, very young, if not in minors. When it comes to Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, what was criminally indicted was the trafficking of underage girls for Epstein's own use. There have yet to be legally verifiable allegations that girls who are underage were trafficked to people who are not Jeffrey Epstein, or by Ghislaine Maxwell to people not Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, there remains to be any evidence of anybody underage getting trafficked to anybody besides Epstein. Because after all, if there was, he would happily report on it. Interesting how they redacted the senders of these emails, isn't it? I'm sure that's just to protect the victims. And this here was one that had gotten a lot of attention, and I heard Viva Frey make a good point about the fact that this one actually could have possibly been sent by a victim who's referring to herself in the third person. At least with that one, that's plausible. But then you start talking about all the references to jerky, and weird shit about having jerky in the fridge and in the freezer, and oh, we're gonna walk the jerky over to you. Not to mention the shit about, oh yeah, we're gonna have somebody come to show you how to make it. He works at a restaurant called Cannibal and Cooks.
Think about it.
But yeah, I'm sure that's nothing. These are just rich and high-profile people that are weirdly obsessed with beef jerky. But let's see what somebody who's supposed to be the exact polar opposite of Ben Shapiro on the right has to say about it.
What is not in the files? You don't see a smoking gun. What is not in the files? The ball thing, some of these edited photographs, misleading stuff. You know what is in the files? Repeatedly and overtly and constantly? Epstein is always talking about Jews and Goyim. It comes up over and over again. Goyim are ridiculous. Is it going to be all Jews at the party? No, Goyim in abundance, but it's okay. It's smart Goyim.
Well, they both seem to be in agreement that, well, there's no smoking gun evidence of trafficking to people and it being used for blackmail. Of course, in Nick's case, he's decided on a line of attack to focus solely on all the derogatory Goyim talk, which I do agree is important for it not to go unnoticed. But it's kind of like with the JFK files. Just because there was no signed confession in the files by Alan Dulles or something like that, people acted like, oh, well, see? There must not have been a conspiracy involving multiple intelligence agencies. The files did prove without a doubt that the government fucking lied and covered up the truth, which, honestly, how many different groups of people really have the juice to pull that off? And now you've got these knuckleheads trying to get us to believe that, okay, yeah, he had his houses and his airplane wired up to take video of everything, but it was only to take videos of himself with girls. Sure, he hobnobbed and hung out with all these incredibly powerful people, but recording them doing anything bad and then using that as leverage, why, that would just be uncouth. And Nick has really been saying some fucking weird-ass shit as of late.
Epstein's my boy, dude. Let's just be honest. Epstein was cool as fuck. There, I said it. Is it really pedophilia? I don't want to be the one that has to say it, but I guess I'm being forced to say it. It's not really pedophilia, okay? They weren't trafficking 5-year-olds. It was like they were technically not legal. Big difference, in my opinion. I know that's a controversial take, but that's not really the issue there. Okay? The issue is not that they were barely legal teens, which is what it is. It's horrendous. It's awful. It's pedophilia. Okay, relax.
And while doing it in different ways in their own separate lanes, Nick and Ben are ultimately doing the same thing here, damage control. Covering up the fact that this really gives a snapshot into the way the world really works, because I guarantee you there are plenty of other operations like this. Probably none where the person was so prolific, and maybe that was the problem. He got a little too big for his britches and they decided to burn him for it. He was probably smart enough to plan for that and have a legit dead man switch. So they offered him WITSEC. Or maybe they secretly moved him out of the jail to torture his ass until he gave up the details of that dead man switch. In which case, yeah, now he's dead. But either way, all the people trying to minimalize and downplay the connections to intelligence, well, for some of them, it's really fucking disappointing. I saw this one news outlet that reposted this picture of him on the plane wearing an IDF shirt, and they actually blurred out the shirt so you couldn't see what it was. But considering the fact that this only represents about half of the actual file, and they still had to redact a whole bunch of shit. You're not even allowed to know what was written on this disk, and all the file names. And the DOJ immediately basically said, yeah, this is all you're gonna get, and we now consider this matter to be concluded.
You said this is the end of the Epstein, of your review of the Epstein files. So, just to clarify, is the public going to learn the identities of the men who abused the girls with the information that you're releasing? And if not, why not? And then I have a quick follow-up.
I mean, you just baked in an assumption into your question that I have never said and I don't know to be true. Is the public going to learn about men that abuse these girls? Like, what does that mean? I mean, I don't understand what that means.
I don't even know what you mean by that.
They're the men who abused the young women through Epstein's,
Look, we said in July, and it remains as true today as it was in July. If we had information, we meaning the Department of Justice, about men who abused women, we would prosecute them, right? We talked about the work that we're doing. That's why I said that. I said this earlier. There's this built-in assumption that somehow there's this hidden tranche of information of men that we know about that we're covering up or that we're choosing not to prosecute. That is not the case. I don't know whether there are men out there that abuse these women.
Everything that guy just says is bullshit. Thank you.
And that would be the Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche up there acting like he doesn't know anything about anything. And I had been hearing people for months and months say that this guy's the fucking problem over at the DOJ. But for all the times I'd heard his name, I didn't even know what the fucker looked like, because he's been doing all this shit behind the scenes, although the past week or so, it's been his ass that they've sent out to do all these interviews. And then when I hear shit like this...
So, I think it's really time for the country to get onto something else, really. You know, now that nothing came out about me, other than there was a conspiracy against me, literally, by Epstein and other people. But I think it's time now for the country to maybe get onto something else.
We've still got people digging out nuggets from these millions of files left and right. And your response is, well, hey, since there's nothing bad about me in there, it's time for everybody to move on.
Absolutely fucking not.
That was just...
amazingly bad.
And even though there were included accusations, sure, those could be bullshit. But considering all these emails where incriminating shit is discussed, who sent or received those emails, oh, well, that's kept a secret. And I'm not even saying I necessarily believe that these emails where they're talking about children and torture and murder, I'm not even saying I think it was Trump that was sending those. But if you're not going to tell us who it was, it doesn't exactly clear you. And as I've said before, the way that this issue is being handled is going to end up costing them. And however you may feel about this one way or the other really doesn't matter. For too many people, this is a huge red line, a deal breaker. People that don't give two shits about the whole red team versus blue team. So the whole talking point about, oh, won't somebody please think of the midterms, is just not going to be convincing. Because we know the truth, that no matter how much good shit you're doing, unless the systemic corruption and depravity gets addressed and dismantled, it's all meaningless. And when I hear shit like this...
It bothers me that somebody's going after Bill Clinton. See, I like Bill Clinton. I still like Bill Clinton.
What do you like about him?
I liked his behavior toward me. I thought he got me, he understood me.
Sorry, but that is not what I voted for. Oh, it bothers you that people are going after Bill Clinton? Are you fucking kidding me? Oh, because he was nice to me. And we'll see what comes next with this, as it's still very much an ongoing and developing story. But as for right now, I kind of want to shift gears a little bit.
I got something to show you, Bert.
What is it? Is it titties?
Nope, a flashbang.
And now, the weekly flashbang.
Hey, yo, I need y'all to do me a favor. I need y'all to get this to DJT. Get this to Donald J. Trump soon as possible.
What the fuck is this?
Hey, Donald Trump, listen here, bro. Hey, how much you paying per illegal?
Oh, shit.
How much you paying per illegal? Cause I got about 50 niggas over here, tall ones, like 6'1", 6'2", 6'3", that I know can run a Mexican down in 0.3 seconds, easy. We can round their ass up for you. All you got to do is let me know what the price is on their head. I got some niggas out here ready to get that money, man. You know what I'm saying? The dope game over with, Donald J. So let's make the new game catch it illegal. Chase a Mexican, or Venezuelan, Honduran, whoever over here who don't supposed to be over here.
Honduran.
Let's start paying the Americans to run them down and tie them up. Let's lasso their ass. Let's do some shit like that right there, man. Take this shit back to the Western days. You heard what I'm saying? Hey, get at me, man. Let's get at me now. I'm talking about, you got to at least be paying 100 per head. Cause nigga don't want to have to be chasing no motherfucking Mexicans all day long just to make $120 a day. No. $100 a head. We going to get them. We gonna catch their ass for real.
Oh man, I know the feasibility of doing something like that is highly debatable. But I will say this, something tells me if it was cats like this dude and his crew out there rounding them up, all of these protesters out there would probably be conducting themselves a little bit fucking different. And if there is one possible saving grace that might allow the Republicans to keep the House and Senate, it's gonna be how odious and tone-deaf the left is. And shit like the new CIA governor of Virginia, and all the priorities they decided to announce to push on day one. I mean, maybe that kind of shit'll get them over the finish line, but we'll see. And now on the ground in Minneapolis, they're setting up checkpoints where they stop and hassle people and demand to see their papers to prove that they aren't with ICE. A lot of these people's capability for self-awareness seems to be so small you need an electron microscope to fucking see it. But while it's true that on an individual basis these people represent the stupidest and weakest people there are, it's always important to never underestimate your enemies, because while it is the lowest common denominator that go viral and get the headlines, they're not all morons.
What's up, guys? I just applied to be an ICE agent, and my plan is that any information I get on ICE raids, I'm going to report back to the Mexican community and, just try to help you guys out. Also, every time a Mexican gets deported, I'm sneaking 2 Mexicans back into the United States. I'm just here to help. That's my plan. I will update you guys along the way. Thank you.
They have fellow travelers that have managed to embed themselves in lots of different places. And some of them are going to be smart enough to not blast that shit on social media. While on the surface you have idiots like this that say literally illegal shit on social media, and then, oh, what do you know, they get arrested. There's no way of knowing how many are out there that are smart enough to fly under the radar.
If you have an American flag in front of your house, swipe away. Do not watch this video. Okay, there's about 10% Americans want a revolution. It's too early, but it's not too early to prepare for the revolution. Let me share with you a business plan to prepare for the revolution. Right now, it's 2026. If some households still have an American flag in front of their house, that means those people are supporting the American system. They are your enemy, and they will be your enemy when the revolution starts. Before you eat the rich, you need more resources and weapons. Where to get all these resources and weapons? Get it from those households who got an American flag in front of their house.
I love how he started that off with, if you have an American flag in front of your house, swipe away. Do not watch this. But despite how stupid that made him sound, this is what's actually happening. Networks are being built. Networks of like-minded individuals who are preparing actively for future actions. And while there are definitely some people behind the scenes that are greasing the skids and footing the bills, the networks that they are quietly building are probably a lot more elaborate and extensive than even I realize. And what these people lack in mental or physical ability, they more than make up for with commitment. These people aren't fucking playing around. But I do believe that that is a pot that still needs a good bit more simmering before it's ready to boil over. How do I know that? Well, let's just call it a hunch. But it just seems like in order to get people to take these new revelations and shift them to the back burner, it's gonna take something major. And I'm reminded of my favorite Gerald Celente quote, when all else fails, they take you to war. They've been quietly moving assets into place like they're about to strike Iran. A lot more assets than what they're publicly announcing. It ain't just the Abraham Lincoln that's over there in place. You might want to consider following the Pentagon Pizza Report. See, whenever there's something major going on, it's fairly well documented that there is a spike in activity at the local pizza places that are nearest to the Pentagon. But maybe there's another wild card they got in store for us. Maybe a novel hemorrhagic fever. There was that illegal Chinese biolab that got raided out in Las Vegas. That story went away really fucking quick, didn't it? And one thing that the news media seemed to overlook was the proximity of this house to a water treatment plant. Literally right across the fucking street. And because of some shit that Laura Trump said about Trump being about to disclose some shit about aliens. So now a lot of people are talking about that. But really there isn't even any reason why it couldn't be all three. With any number of other things thrown in the mix. Because it is going to take one hell of a spectacle to get people to stop paying so much attention to these files. And one more quick thing before I go. Who thinks they have a handle on what's really going on with Savannah Guthrie's mom getting kidnapped? Because on the surface the story makes no fucking sense. Who the hell kidnaps an 84-year-old with a pacemaker and medication that she'll die without? And then her and her sister and brother put out that video asking for a proof of life. They just kind of, I don't know, their body language seemed kind of weird. And then the new video they put out, listen to this shit.
We received your message and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us, and we will pay.
We received your message and we understand? I don't know, that just seems like really weird fucking verbiage. And the fact that her mom got kidnapped 2 days after the Epstein files got released, and you remember a few years back whenever she did that one-on-one with Trump where she just kept on pressing him to disavow the whole pedophile network thing? I'm just saying, there's something fucking weird going on and I can't quite put my finger on what it is. So if any of you have any thoughts on that, please drop it in the comments. Sláinte.
have in this world is my thoughts and my words, and I don't break them for no one. You understand?
So say good night to the bad guy. 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 Come on. Come on. Come on. So say good night to the bad guy. 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 So say good night. So say good night. So say good night to the bad guy. So say good night to the bad guy. So say good night. So say good night. So say good night to the bad guy. I told you, don't fuck with me. 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 You stupid fuck. Look at you now. Look at you now.
There is something to be learned from a rainstorm. When meeting with a sudden shower, you try not to get wet and run quickly along the road. By doing such things as passing under the eaves of houses, you still get wet. When you're resolved from the beginning, you will not be perplexed, that you will still get the same soaking. This understanding extends to all things.